I'm Marla Bashore, and this is Crash Course World History. Today, we're going to be talking about Neil Armstrong. In case you live under a rock, Neil Armstrong was the first man to walk on the moon. The Eagle has landed. Neil Armstrong was born in Ohio on August 5, 1930. He was fascinated with flight at an early age and earned his student's pilot license at the age of 16. In 1947, Armstrong began his studies as an astronomical engineer at Purdue University on a U.S. Navy scholarship. In 1949, he was called to serve in the Korean War. He left service in 1952 and went to college. A few years later, Armstrong joined NASA. At NASA, he tested many high-speed aircrafts. In his personal life, Armstrong started to settle down. He married Jeanette Sharon on January 28, 1956. The couple soon added to their family. Their son Eric was born in 1957, followed by their daughter Karen in 1959, who later died because of a brain tumor. In 1963, they had their second son, Mark. That same year, Armstrong joined NASA. Him and his family moved to Houston, Texas, and Armstrong was the command pilot for his first mission, Gemini the 8th. In this mission, for the first time ever, two different spaceships were able to dock next to each other. Later on, they landed in the Pacific Ocean nearly 11 hours after the mission's start and were rescued by the USS Mason. In 1969, he was sent to the moon and became the first man to walk on the moon. I'm the star of the show, not you, me! And now, to the Thought Bubble with Sarah Burns.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, lift off. Along with Michael Collins and Edwin E. Buzz Aldrin, Armstrong was part of NASA's first manned mission to the moon. The trio were launched into space on July 16, 1969, at 9:37 a.m. from the Kennedy Space Center. Commander Neil Armstrong on the left, Command Module Pilot Michael Collins in the center, and Lunar Module Pilot Edwin Buzz Aldrin on the right were the three men that were included in the mission of Apollo 11. Armstrong piloted the lunar module to the moon's surface on Sunday, July 20, 1969. Collins remained on the command module while Armstrong and Aldrin went to explore.
Okay, Neil, we can see you coming down the ladder now. I'm at the foot of the ladder. The LEM footpads are only impressed in the surface about 1 or 2 inches. I'm going to step off the LEM now. That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
At 10:56 p.m., Armstrong exited the lunar module. He said, "That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind," as he made his famous first step on the moon. For about 2.5 hours, Armstrong and Aldrin collected samples and conducted experiments. They also took photographs, including their own footprints. Departure from the moon was on Monday, July 21st, after spending 22 hours on the moon. Splashdown was on July 24th, 1969, after 8 days, 3 hours, and 18 minutes in space. The Apollo 11 craft came down in the Pacific Ocean about 825 miles west of Hawaii. The crew and the craft were picked up by the USS Hornet, and the 3 astronauts were put into quarantine for 3 weeks. They reunited with their family and friends on August 10th. Crowds lined the streets of New York City to cheer on the famous heroes who were honored in a ticker tape parade. Armstrong received numerous awards for his efforts, including the Medal of Freedom and the Congressional Space Medal of Honor.
And now to the open letter with Noel Nasser.
An open letter to the Soviets. But first, let's see what's in a secret compartment. Oh look, moon rocks. But Miss Nasser, those look like ordinary rocks. Well, me from the past, they are from the moon. Although they look ordinary, they are not. Neil brought me these for Christmas. That's why people were disappointed when they lined up at the Smithsonian. But this is something the Soviets don't have. Back to the open letter. Dear Soviets, yes, you accomplished a lot in space before us, but we landed on the moon. Sputnik was the first man-made object to land in orbit around the Earth, and this was accomplished by the Soviets in 1957. The U.S. followed this amazing feat by launching Explorer 1 in 1958. Then in 1959, the Soviets launched Luna 2 and it landed on the moon. In 1961, Yuri Gagarin became the first person to orbit the Earth. Also in 1961, Alan Shepard became the first American in space. JFK announced that the U.S. was going to get a man on the moon before the end of the decade in 1961. And this is when the space race took off. In 1969, Neil Armstrong landed on the moon after several failed attempts by the Soviets to do the same. This concluded the space race, which unfortunately the Mongols were not a part of.
Although Neil Armstrong was one of the most famous astronauts in history, he largely shied away from the public eye. He once said about the moon that it's a brilliant surface in that sunlight. The horizon seems quite close to you because the curvature is so much more pronounced than here on Earth. It is an interesting place to be. I recommend it. Even in his final years, Armstrong stayed committed to the space program. He expressed his concern in changes in the U.S. space program in 2010, saying that President Barack Obama's decision to cancel the Constellation program, which involved another mission to the moon, would cost the United States in its leadership role in space exploration. On August 25, 2012, Neil Armstrong unfortunately died from heart problems at the age of 82. After his death, his family released a statement saying, "For those who may ask what they can do to honor Neil, we have a simple request. Honor his example of service, accomplishment, and modesty. And the next time you walk outside on a clear night and see the moon smiling down at you, think of Neil Armstrong and give him a wink." Armstrong's death was mourned worldwide. President Obama said, "Neil was among the greatest of American heroes, not just of his time, but of all time." His Apollo 11 colleague Buzz Aldrin said that, "I know I am joined by millions of others in mourning the passing of a true American hero and the best pilot I ever knew. My friend Neil took the smallest step but giant leap that changed the world and will forever be remembered as a landmark moment in human history."
And that's the story of the first time a man walked on the moon.
You heard it here first.
Thanks for watching. See you next time on Crash Course World History.